So here it is. This is how we work with the precept of speech when asking for teachings or requesting practices. Super, super important, right? I had this down. That's why my teachers just didn't find me that annoying. They found the constant perseverance pretty annoying. They'd wake up at 3 or 4 a.m. to go out and do something. I'd already be on their steps meditating. And when they went to bed at night, that they found like, oh my God, I have to just teach this kid to get rid of him, kind of thing. So that's okay. But the way I would ask would be this. This is called the 7 steps of responsible asking. We should ask for teachings and sadhana advice and guidance in a responsible, sincere, and committed manner. Responsible, sincere, and committed manner. People just come up and request stuff all the time without even thinking about it. Kidding me? You come up and ask for something that's going to like open up the gates to heaven and give you enlightenment in some casual, offhanded comment over a beer? So I'll come around tomorrow and you give me that mantra, yeah? Like, you know, come around and give you $5. What, are you kidding me? Not you in this case. I'm not being, because you just asked about it yesterday. Okay, but this is what people do, just in case. This is what people do. And it's like, no. There should be sincerity, there should be a sense of commitment, there should be an understanding of the obligation that you're asking for. So let's go through these 7 steps. Get these right and every teacher will fall at your feet. They'll want you to stay and study with them because they'll go, you get it. First one, decide precisely what it is you want. 7 steps of responsible asking. Don't just get up there and ramble. You may only get one shot with a teacher. Decide what it is precisely that you want. I waited a long time to meet a very fantastic, famous teacher, and I got up there to ask what I want, and I was really precise, and he said, no. And I said, why? And he says, karmic circumstances, he's got long sight vision. We will never have a relationship where this could come to fruition. I said, I got it. It took me that long to finally get you to ask the question I can get that we're probably not going to do this tango together. Okay, cool. But it was all smiles. No. We're never going to, no. I got too many obligations, I got to train my own son, I'm not going to be able to do that for you. Like, okay, I'll find it somewhere else. Thanks for being, it was a very New York guru moment. Acharya to acharya, older acharya to younger acharya. I get it. So decide precisely what you want. Second step, be sure you're able to receive the response, the teaching or the practice. Be sure you're able to receive the practice. So if I go to His Holiness now, my teacher's dead, so if I go to my first guru is dead now, and my second teacher, I go to him, which I'm going to be doing soon. I say, Your Holiness, I'd really love to have this light body practice that does X, Y, Z. If he says, oh, no problem, I'll give it to you. So go down to that hut, tell someone, blah, 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 bring you this text. I'll come down and teach it to you every day. Oh, what do you mean every day? You can't do it right now? No, it's a 49-day practice. So you have to be in that dark little room for 49 days. I got like a week. So I didn't assess, when you go to ask for something big, you should really be open and know that you're going to have to fulfill whatever they want. I asked another teacher for 10 years to teach me something that I found transforming, life transforming. For 9 years, that teacher said no. Every year I'd go on the same date, pretty much, give or take a week or two, and they'd say no. And give all these reasons. And I never understood why, because we were so close. He taught me tons of other things, but he wouldn't give me this one thing. And then in the 10th year, he goes, okay, I'll give it to you. So I said, okay, so I'm here now, let's do it. I traveled from my home country 10,000 miles, literally, to see him and ask this question. No, go home first. Go home first. Yeah, go home first. Then I want you to write me a letter and send that letter requesting it formally, the teacher. This guy's very formal, old school. He's in the picture right there, looking at me. He's smiling at me while I say it. He just died at about 115 years old, this guy, 2 years ago. So he says, write me a letter. Then send that letter to me. Then I'll send you a response. I'm like, oh my God, you could die, He was like 90 at the time. I'm like, you could die. Then it wasn't going to happen this time. Oh, don't talk that spiritual nonsense to me. I want it now. So I had to go, flew back, write a letter. He writes a letter back. And there was something that happened in the letter process that was very deep for me as well. And then I had to pay him pieces of silver. I mean, how ancient is this dude? He was born before 1900, so there's a specific number of pieces of silver that go with this teaching. Whatever, be ready to give whatever they ask, you see? Had to get this, where the hell are we going to find chunks of silver? Had to find the silver, had to get it through the x-ray machine when you go on the plane, all this kind of shit. So anyway, I get there and I give him the silver. He doesn't even pay attention to it here. He just throws it to his wife. They put it in the community fund. He doesn't even take the money. But this is the thing. You've got to be ready to give it. And he tells me in the letter, come back on this date. I don't care that I have a doctor practice, multidisciplinary clinic with 8 people underneath me and the obligations of teaching. And just come back this date. I asked, this is when it happens, fly home first. Hey, don't care, I got to spend another $5,000 to fly back there and do this whole thing. Yeah. So you be ready, you understand? This is very important to be ready for this. So I went back and I lived in his house and I had, the experience of my lifetime basically, because I was ready to give it. So be sure you're able to receive the response. Receive what they're going to tell you. Can I hold that practice as well? Will I do what he said? Will I keep that? There's a vows that go with this practice. Will I do it? Will I try it? Will I be able to receive it? Third thing. So first you're deciding what you want. Then you're deciding if you're going to be able to do the thing you're asking someone to give you. Third thing is to find who has what you want. Don't ask the wrong person. Don't ask the wrong person, oh, wasn't that good? And then complain about it after. Wasn't that good? The training wasn't that good. Oh, he's not so good at it. She's not so good at it. You should have found out first. You should have found out first before you asked that person. So find the right person, step 3. And here's an addendum on step 3. You have to find out whether they can actually give it to you. It's not enough that they hold that knowledge. Will they actually give it to you? Whether they can actually give it to you. You understand? Okay. Number 4. Then, determine whether you are ready to give that which is unknown to you at the time of asking. Like this example I said. So, all good so far. The 4th one is, am I really ready to give what they're going to ask me? I don't even know what they're going to ask. Right? I don't even know what they're going to ask. Like when Swami Satyananda asked Swami Shivananda at graduation when he became an acharya, he said, what do I owe you? What is my guru dakshina, guru payment? Because you don't pay anything when you live in the family of your guru. You just train, and then when you become an acharya or teacher, they lay it on you. The bill comes. It's not money. So he said to Satyananda, make yoga a worldwide, scientific, recognized reality. That's kind of big. So then Swamiji started going around the world teaching and lecturing on yoga. He's a tantrika, but all he focused on was yoga. Yoga, setting up research projects, inspiring people to do research projects everywhere. Okay? And a lot of how yoga is accepted now today, like even Kamala doing this work in Brazil, if Swamiji didn't do what he did, that stuff wouldn't be happening the way it is now. He really, without looking for any fame, got out there and made that happen. That was his payment for his teacher. Swami Shivananda knew somehow that would be important for Westerners to know that it had scientific basis in order to transform our culture into compassion and love and wisdom, right? Okay, you got this now. You're ready to give. You don't even know what's going to be asked to be given, but now you're ready to give, and you go to 5. Ask specifically for what you want. Offer the giver what it is they want or expect from you. Ask specifically for what you want. Be in the presence of that teacher and offer specifically and be ready to give what they expect from you, what they want from you. Do what is asked of you. Are we getting through the audio here? It's coming through? Do what is asked of you, okay? Once you do that and you're ready, now you're ready. Step 6, right? Receive the requested boon, it says in your notes, right? You know a boon? Now you know. Receive the requested boon. So get what you asked for. Receive it. And cherish it. Have tons of gratitude for it. Cherish it, have gratitude for it. It's a divine gift. It's amazing. It can make you enlightened. You have to see it for what it really is, right? And the last step, the 7th step, if you don't receive what you asked for, if you don't receive, the teacher says no or whatever, go back and look at the steps. Note on which step that you've made a mistake of these 7 steps and correct and try again. Correct and try again. Maybe it was you asked the wrong teacher. Maybe it was you didn't have strong enough commitment. Maybe it was you didn't have enough value in what it was you were asking for yet, and they feel that in your request. You don't really have enough value. You just asked me so casually. Or you just slung out like the 5 main practices of our whole system in one sentence, and you want to get them all over a ham sandwich. Come on. So go back and look at the steps. This is very important. Very, very important. I guess for XYZ people, it's more important than ever. Because especially the way that spirituality is being taught in every city in Europe and America now, you can go for an abhishek or an empowerment with any lama or guru anywhere in the world anytime now. It just seems to be like a new commercial thing, a new consumerism movement. Yeah? Yeah. Thanks. 37 minutes, is it? Yeah. Okay. The fifth precept now, and this is a biggie, man. This is a really biggie. And this is one you're going to be like, I can't tell when. Okay, it's a discrimination point, but you have to work on this. Fifth precept is precept of natural effort. We have a constant urging through all of our texts of tantric yoga, tantric ritual practice, philosophy, whatever, all of them, to not perform strenuous effort. The strenuous effort is dangerous. Dangerous. So use minimal strength, will, and concentration needed in each situation to accomplish just what is needed. You got it? How do you know what the correct amount of energy or strength that should be applied in each situation is? The minimal that gets it done. The minimal that gets it done. So 99% of the time, yielding is the best way to go. You know, just let it go, whatever it is. 1% of the time, you need to confront and be super strenuous, and that is called out in that moment, and it's the minimal strength that needs to get something done. Turns out to be strenuous. That make sense? But in that moment, it should be done and finished. See? That's how big wars build up. The tension builds up and make a big war because people are not yielding all the way along when they should be and not being firm all the way along when they should be. And then nothing builds up. By the time it builds up, where maximum yin can't be handled anymore, and boom, maximum yang hits, that's a war. And when that happens, you have to do it hard and fast and get it over. Long wars are bad for humanity. All wars are bad, but they're a necessary part of our life because we don't communicate well. We don't respond to being overstrenuous. This is in this principle. So if you have to have a war, you do it fast and hard, and as soon as it's over, you make reparations. You go in and help those people you just slammed. Because you don't want lasting enemies. You want people to understand this was done because we couldn't reach an agreement. So precept of natural effort. Like it says in Hatha Yoga Pradipika, don't perform unnatural effort, strenuous effort. It says, don't perform strenuous effort. It says, don't walk long in the sun. Don't go on pilgrimages. Don't sit by fires. All these practices we relate to yogis all the time. That was the path of renunciate yoga. Tantric yoga is different. They had to write the book to say, you guys are forgetting. You're going into this cuckoo path of transcendence. Forgetting that you're a natural being, right? Tai Chi is like this. You see, when you learn Tai Chi from great masters like I did, you learn that, oh, actually, you use a ton of effort at certain points, like tremendous power at certain points. You don't do it like that all the time, no. You use the minimal effort necessary to accomplish something. You ever see push hands where people do push hands? Pushing on each other, you know? And it goes back like this, and it goes back like this. You push on each other's arm, you take it, and you bring it back, and you push the arm, take it and bring it back. Well, if you mess that up and don't use enough effort, you get toppled over. Mm-hmm. If you use too much effort, you get pulled over. Just like in wrestling. Big precept. Small writing, big precept. 6, precept of discretion. Oh my goodness, this is so huge. X, Y, Z. People listen up. X, Y, Z. It's undignified to share all your dirty laundry with everybody. No one wants to know. If you do want to know, you're sick. Okay? Ooh, have some discretion already. No one wants to know what you do with your husband or your wife. It's terrible. In the bedroom, I mean. It's incredible. In Brazil, people told me that it's really normal that you talk about all your sexual encounters, you know. Like you have this long-term lover relationship. Everybody sits around talking about what you do in the bedroom. Oh my God. Anyway, discretion. Don't be too open. Know the difference between that which you share and is thereby benefiting, enhancing, and radiating essence energy, and that which is enhanced through privacy. Some things are enhanced through privacy. Don't tell everybody about your spiritual practices. Don't tell everybody about what you do with your lover. That's just shameful. Do not attract attention. Don't attract attention to yourself as a spiritual practitioner. These are very, very old precepts that come from a long time back. If you attract attention to yourself as a spiritual practitioner, people think you're weird. Yeah, it's true. Be discreet in meritorious as well as non-meritorious actions. No confessions to purge guilt and shame. Okay? You don't need, like, if you did something wrong, you feel all this guilt and everything, you don't need to run around and tell everybody about it. Just do the practice in the morning, right? Confess it out in space, rectify yourself, come back into alignment with the view of the training of the system, and then you're fine again. You do not need to be an open book to be cultivating the Dharma. You don't need to be an open book. There's a big debate in Dharma communities. We should have complete transparency. We should have complete transparency. I disagree. I don't think government should have complete transparency. I don't think people are ready for the truth in general and total. Now, I'm right now pretty much losing all the constituency of the membership of our entire worldwide group of Dharma community. But the truth is, people aren't ready to know the truth about things. Oscar Wilde said some great thing one time about that you should really respect the military because it takes those few people who will put themselves in harm's way so that we can all enjoy what we think of as luxury and enjoyment. Because in the world, that's what it is. Somebody's going to steal your country, like Tibet. You know, you have to have warriors who are willing to do this. But they'll do the thing you won't do. They will commit the atrocities that you won't do to make it all safe, you see. So there's this thing I'm trying to get at by using that example to say that if America knew all the things that made America America, those people who love America and think it's so wonderful as this comfortable place would be very uncomfortable. Do you understand these things? This is the truth of life. Yeah? So discretion is an absolutely essential part of life as much as honesty is. And they have to pulse as much as openness is. They have to pulse back and forth. And we have to think what is most beneficial. I'm not talking about manipulating and controlling masses like Karl Marx. I'm talking about what is most beneficial. And my YZ students, not so much my X, but more my YZ generation students, don't know what that means. They were raised in this kind of hippie commune kind of feeling that had like its third rebirth in Berkeley. It's spread around the world now, that everybody should know everything about everybody's business. But it's not really good. Okay? So, blah, 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 blah. Don't need to be an open book to be cultivating Dharma. Cultivate a spiritual practice life that is discreet. In fact, if you find most of the great masters like Nityananda Baba, Ramana Maharishi, all the huge, huge ones that you can think of, you don't really know much about their life. They didn't even talk about it. You're right, he was born here, she was born there, they lived there for a while, they did some practice like this, but details, no way. Discretion. Okay? Number 7, the precept of essential dignity. Vajrapride. We've discussed it a little bit already, right? Immersion in the immutability of essence expresses as a relaxed yet dignified poise and authentic presence. Obviously, being discreet is part of having Vajrapride. Being sober is part of having Vajrapride. In other words, humans should have a sense of inner regality, not something that is brought on by contrived thinking about it, pumping yourself up, not that. We should have essential dignity. We should feel some essential connection to our source, our enlightened nature, and say, yes, it would be undignified to act like this or act like that. And you can feel it in those moments. You understand? It brings about a flowing spontaneity, a graceful deportment. Another way we could say essential dignity, it brings out a graceful deportment. And yeah, some teachers are rough around the edges, you know. Swami Rudrananda, certainly I am in certain ways. But underneath it, you can see in there some consistent, hopefully some theme of graceful deportment in there, that there is the definite desire to benefit all beings with all the speech, all the body, all the action and so forth, the thinking, the praying, whatever. Rudy was always working for the students, even though he was this big, hulking New Yorker, kind of like, didn't care what he looked like as far as how he dressed, kind of ate like 5 pizzas and 2 tubs of ice cream and a keg of beer for lunch, you know. Played poker every Friday night with peanuts and beers and whiskey with all the guys, all that kind of thing. But he had such an essential dignity inside. You could just see it. He's just radiantly beautiful with that dignity. Authentic presence, right? Authentic presence. What's your authentic presence, you know? Like you're talking about the Tai Chi teacher you studied with, that's like that authentic presence. He's not trying to be contrived for what you think a Tai Chi teacher should be. Comes out in the morning with his bed head on, smoking a cigarette, you know, late in the morning, not up early, meditating, you know. 8, the precept of avoiding harming beings. That's what ahimsa. Himsa means harm or violence. Means not. Not harming, not violent. The precept of avoiding harming beings. Non-violence is rooted in non-separation, not feeling separate from others or processes, right? That's non-duality, isn't it? So cultivate a sense of connection to all beings that disallows the arisal of harmful intent. If I feel so connected to you, how could I rip you off? How can I charge you too much for this project, this product, you know? If I'm seeing you as a human, same as me, and we're sharing that mandala of humanity, in one essence, we're one awareness, love together, how can I not just sell it to you for what I need to make, to have my life go on, to be able to help others selling that good product? Or as Ram Dass said to his father one time when he was selling these 7-volume album of teachings for like $50, his father was like, you could sell that for like $250, couldn't you? His father's really rich. He's like, yeah, I could, Pop. You know, yeah, look at the production value of this thing. It's amazing. He's maybe 300. Yeah, probably, you know. So he said, well, why aren't you? And Ram Dass said to his father, well, you know, Uncle Louie's our partner in business. Yeah, Uncle Louie. All right. So, you know, when you would you sell this to Uncle Louie? Would you sell this thing you have? He'd name something in the house, or would you just give it to him? He goes, well, it's Uncle Louie. I wouldn't sell it. I'd give it to him. So Ram Dass said to him, well, everybody's Uncle Louie, Dad. Everybody's Uncle Louie. You just have to make enough. You don't want to make more, see? So, this is this idea. If you benefit and someone loses, then it's not really Dharma, is it? So cultivate a sense of connection to all beings that is so strong, it doesn't even allow for the arising of a harmful intent. It doesn't even allow for it. Okay? This is why someone says, well, you're a kung fu guy and fought full contact and you love doing these matches where you hurt people. I go, don't even mix up apples and oranges. It's completely different. It's a sport. We both know the rules. The rules is to snap something, you know. That's the game. I don't cry about it if someone snaps my arm. That's the way it is. It's a whole different thing. So to kill is not to harm is an important aspect of this precept. Oh, I am non-harming, I'm non-harming. So someone's trying to kill your mother. You're not going to stop them? And if that stopping them involves killing them, did you harm them? If you kill them, pretty much can see it as harm. So you have to be really clear about these things. Even the 10 Commandments, it wasn't thou shalt not kill, it's thou shalt not murder. It's a big difference, right? So killing is not to harm. To murder is to kill with harmful intent. So we have to understand, to be a vegetarian on the stance that taking another life so I can eat, being bad, right? That's a moralistic injunction. That's not a tantric principle. It's a moralistic injunction. The reason I'd want to be a vegetarian would be that somehow it's benefiting all beings through cultivating more dharma in me. So if there was a reason that not eating animals did that, then I would do that. And there may be times in your life where you're doing certain practices in Tantra where you shouldn't have heavier food that involves blood as well. There's times when you do certain practices where that changes your blood chemistry in a way that makes the practice harder to get the fruit of. But these are the pragmatic reasons that we're vegetarian for in Tantra, not moralistic reasons. Now, if you're a vegetarian, go for your life, have a great time with it, keep going, no big deal. I'm just telling you the Tantric precepts. Okay, understand? In Tantra, we can't really draw the line. Well, viruses. Take the virus medicine, kill them. They're not alive. They're not alive. No, they're just DNA wrapped around, you know, they're really alive. Oh, now you're splitting hairs. Bacteria, well, they're alive, for sure. They reproduce, they run around, you know. I'd say they have some kind of sentient nature, for sure. Just bacteria style. We kill them like crazy. We don't care about that. Fungus, sure, kill a candida, kill it. Ants, they're invading my pantry, kill them. But don't eat meat, but kill them, the ants are in my pantry. Everybody's drawing lines in the sand somewhere. It's ridiculous. Watch The Secret Life of Plants. Beautiful movie showing you that plants have the ability to sense and so on. And everybody who's done shamanic work knows that the whole universe is alive. Part of Tantra is that the animistic view is real. Everything's alive. And in Tantra we have a saying, everything eats in the universe. Everything eats in the universe. So you're either eating or being eaten. So don't get hung up with morals around it. If you're a kapha person, you don't need to eat heavy foods and don't eat meat. That's great. You cling, your tissues cling and you can barely shed a pound. You don't need big roast beef sandwiches. You're a skinny, little skinny mini Vata person shaking in the wind like a leaf, you know? Then stop eating that vegetarian, vegan, raw stuff. You're going to kill yourself. Get some fat on your bones. You know? It's simple, very simple, yeah? Okay. But don't harm people. Don't harm them with your mind. Don't harm them with your emotion or with your speech. Be kind. Cultivate kindness. Precept of honesty is number 9. Should be self-explanatory. Be honest. Don't exaggerate or fabricate life events, spiritual accomplishments, knowledge, etc. Don't steal. Don't take something that's not yours without asking. That's a really big thing. Have no ulterior motives. Have no ulterior motives. Be honest. Have no tricky motive behind what you're doing. That's not honest, right? Do not coerce or manipulate to serve your cause or any cause. Do not coerce or manipulate to serve your cause or any other cause. If you're single, don't sell yourself to the person to get a date. That's coercing and manipulation. You understand? I prefer, you know, there's this show called Lie to Me. Did you ever see Lie to Me? It's brilliant. And there's some character on there, I forget his name, but he's so funny. He's like a hipster doofus. And he goes up and just tells the girl everything bad about himself right away. You ever see that scene? And then he's like, well, I figure if I tell you all the bad stuff right now, you don't run away, I got a chance. That's a great approach. I love that. It's really funny. But true, it's good, you know? So don't coerce or manipulate. We even put clothes on that attempt to gain coercion or manipulation over our situation. It's subtle. It comes out so subtle. A little bit of eyeliner, a little extra eyeliner. Why? Why? Because you have Vajra pride and you want to bring that out? That's great. Or because it's an external expression of your Vajra pride, or because you want to get over on a situation. Big difference, right? I told this funny story the other day of grandmother Kitty Hawk, my Lakota teacher, and she was sitting around training one day and there was a girl there, a bunch of girls there, with hair under their arms, like, you know, as long as Rip Van Winkle's beard. And they stunk. And they were wearing hippie clothes, and they were kind of dirty looking and stuff. And they thought to be Native American was to be kind of dirty and natural. That natural meant just be kind of dirty. And there's grandmother sitting there with beautiful, long, gray, kind of yellow hair when you're really old, plaited perfectly, in beautiful doe skin, with her own embroidery of beads. And she looked fantastic. And she's like, what you girls doing? It's disgusting. What's that hair under your arms? Ah, don't you know, be Indian means clean, doesn't mean dirty. And she went on and on about it. You know, have respect for yourselves, have some dignity. And she was really big into this. So sometimes we can really miss this a little bit. Okay, we got that one? She was expressing, I don't know if you connected that story to what we were teaching. She was expressing the essential Vajra pride, the essential dignity, through the way she held herself. Her deportment was amazing, her cleanliness, all these things. She's a testament to humanity because she had the worst, most horrific, abusive childhood. I can't imagine a worse one. I don't even say it. I shouldn't even say it. It was so bad. And for her to just walk around dignified and loving all beings was just amazing. So whatever she did with her look was to show that this is my inner heart, this is my essence heart. Can't beat that. It's still here and it's beautiful and soft, you know. This is not putting on pumps to go and get a job. You know what I mean? Okay? The precept of simplicity, number 10. This is very big. This is a great precept. Avoid elaboration. Avoid complexity, which brings confused suffering. Don't need elaboration, don't need complexity. Be simple and straightforward. Avoid duplicity. And most of all, in our system, don't be a hypocrite. We don't sweat hypocrites in our system. It's horrible. So when you look at precept of honesty, coercion, manipulation, one of the worst ways you can generate tremendous karma is to coerce or manipulate somebody into a business deal with you or a contract on a personal level, like marriage, business deal, or sex. If you coerce and manipulate in that area, you can produce tremendous karma. So just be straightforward, okay? Don't be a hypocrite. 11, and be simple in all things you do. Simplify. Simplify and focus is a good rule for everybody. 11 is precept of humility, right? Not fake humility, not false humility of the God realm. Not the God realm false humility, which is based on pride, looking so humble, you know? Guard against arrogance, pride. Pride is called minor accomplishment. Isn't that good? Guard against arrogance or insecurity, pride or minor accomplishment, and false humility, which is manipulation and seduction. Humility and modesty are the expression of surrender. Do not cling to visions of self. This is pride. Do not identify with the performance of duty, nor its fruit. That's all humility, right? Bhagavad Gita, right? I am not the doer. I'm not the doer. The universe goes on and I act as part of the universe. I'm not the doer. I take no credit for it, right? I'm not the doer and I don't get the reward. That's how you're free and to be in the world in a beautiful way. Do you understand that? I'm not the doer and I don't get the reward. I'm just free in the world doing my thing as the universe, but I'm not thinking about how great I am at it and the great ego structure I've built up around this activity, and nor do I care if you hate me or love me for it.
Which is different from the fruit if you're looking at.
Different than the fruit. No, it is the fruit. That is exactly the fruit of enlightenment. I couldn't give a rat's ass if you approve of what I'm teaching or not what I'm teaching.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it simply because this is what I do, not because I think I should do it, or, you understand?
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita chapters 4 and 5 in a good translation. You can check that out. Okay? That's huge. Humility. Do not identify the performance of duty nor its fruit. Right. Okay. 12. Precept of equanimity. Cultivate an expectation of the unevenness of life. Do you hear that? Cultivate an expectation of the unevenness of life. If you expect life to be uneven, you'll have equanimity. Be neither too tight nor too slack. Stillness and action, action and stillness. This is a quote from many texts. Look upon a clod of earth, lump of gold, beautiful person, and a rotting corpse with the same vision. Equanimity. Love, or Advaita Bhavana, Advaita, Adva, not to, Bhavana, way of being. The not to way of being. That's the word for love in our tradition. Advaita Bhavana. Beautiful word, huh? The way of being where we're not to. Where there's no me and anything other object. That's love, right? Love is not to favor. Love is not to favor. Love is equanimity. There is no favorites in love. I love you more than this one. Then it's not love. That's affection, respect, admiration, personal karma. That's not love. Love is equal. All the time. 13, precept of non-attachment. Experience satiation of desire without producing a pattern of repetition. Done. Slam dunk. Tap out right there. Experience satiation of desire without producing a pattern of compulsion or a need to have it repeat. That's non-attachment right there. I eat the donut, it's so awesome, I'm savoring it in the moment of the desire, the donut is in the desire, the fulfillment of desire, the donut is in the donut, it's all at one. Done. It doesn't bring up a pattern that I'm going to have more donutness later. Yeah? That's awesome. That's a way of being what is instead of what could be, and so on. Very powerful. So that's a big one. Non-attachment. Very big. Be with every desire that arises and its fulfillment without producing a pattern of repetition. Okay? The precept of sobriety is next, number 14. This is really big for today's world because the whole American commercial marketing machine is about having you be intoxicated. Whether it's by substances, or by the movie world that they create, or by ambitions and dreams of being able to pimp your crib because you're so rich. You name what it is. Everything is about not being sober, right? Everything is about not being sober. So sobriety. Don't follow fantasy. Cut it off every moment. Boom, boom, boom. Don't follow fantasy. So stay sober. Don't follow fantasy. Ambitions can be fantasy, right? Seeing people in a certain way that's not real is fantasy. Then when you have to deal with the real person, you're disappointed. Your expectations haven't been met. Let's deal with things in the real way, right? So cultivate what we call basic sanity in this system. Cultivate basic sanity. Do not willingly participate in intoxication. Okay? You see all your friends are going into fantasy and going crazy, don't participate. Just because those knuckleheads are doing it, you don't have to do it. Right? 15, the precept of kindness and generosity. Kindness and generosity. Huge. We never know the cruelty that has been experienced by somebody. You never know what cruelty they've suffered. So be kind. Generosity is to be in resonance with nature. See, nature is generous. Nature is always supportive. She's always kind. She's always loving. She's always magnanimous. Everything you need is always there if you can just see it, as one of my greatest teachers ever said. Everything you ever need is always right there if you can just see it. One of the greatest teachings I ever got. I put it to the test my whole life and found it to be true. Sometimes it took more work to see it, but that was a great transformation process itself. Kindness and generosity do not depend on circumstance. Got that? Kindness and generosity do not depend on circumstance. Well, she's not nice to me, I'm not going to be nice to her. Whatever. Like that. 16, precept of remembrance of death. This is huge, really another really big one. In Tantra, we always remember death. We keep it as an ally, as Castaneda would have said. We keep it as a friend, as a reminder of the impermanence of everything, how everything is just a process, right? We keep the old prayer flags up. When we tie the new ones, we're ready for another set of colored prayer flags to go up. Old white ones are showing us that everything goes away, and there's a beauty in that too. Represented by the goddess Dhumavati, and the 10 wisdom goddesses of our system. Dhuma means smoke. So she's old and wizened and seen kind of bluish gray, long, loopy pendulous breasts, wrinkled skin, right? Very austere image. She's on a cart, Saturn, Shani, crow sitting on there, you know. This is a great image, one we should embrace, because this is happening all the time, but we don't want to see it. I got a new hemorrhoid. Oh yeah, Dhumavati. Lost some more hair. Oh yeah, Dhumavati. You know, this is all happening all the time. It's beautiful. It should be celebrated. I think it's the most beautiful thing in the world. That's what makes it sort of a left-hand tantric, though. But it's true. The beauty of things are only there because they're going to disappear. That's what makes them beautiful. Because they have uniqueness, and that uniqueness is short-lived. That's what makes anything beautiful. That's what makes us all so beautiful. There's never been and never will be another you. It's amazing. Look at the squirrels. They all look the same. Squirrels are basically squirrel consciousness. Yeah, the squirrels are squirrel. You don't see a redhead squirrel, freckled squirrel, bald squirrel, African-American squirrel. Yeah, squirrels are squirrels. But we're all really different. You understand? Don't get squirrel. So you have this unique individuality that's gorgeous, and you're going to go. And your contribution is gorgeous, and it's going to go. But the beauty of everything is the transient nature of everything. That's what makes something beautiful. I spent a few years meditating on what beauty is. It was flipping me out. I was like, what is beauty? What is beauty? I just can't get it. Oh, people are beautiful because of the symmetry of the face. We know that from studies. Yeah, but that's not beauty. It's, you know, because this rock is beautiful. And it's got no symmetry whatsoever. What's beautiful? And it hit me. It's an underlying essence recognition that we have, that everything is impermanent. That's actually beautiful. That's not something to get all sad about and go meditate on how your body's a pus bag and I'm going to go to the Buddha fields later. It's something to celebrate, see the beauty of it. Okay? Remembrance of death. Nothing is static. All people, objects, and situations are always dissolving, though they may appear to be stable or growing or evolving. Our own death may be surprising if we forget that we die. I never know. Could go any minute, man. I never know. 17, the precept of openness. Be adaptable, be flexible. This is pretty big, right? To be open, adaptable, and flexible. You can almost write a whole book on that one precept. Don't lock down. That's inner tantra. Don't lock down. You're not practicing an outer religion. Practicing an inner path. Don't lock down. Open, adaptable, flexible. That doesn't mean don't fulfill commitments, you know?